because I do have a very loud voice, and maybe I'll give it a rest and I'll give you a rest tonight. Welcome, everyone. Welcome that you're here. And Zoom family, welcome as well. And we always give a pitch. I know Louise and I always go, come out, join us. It's really wonderful to be out in the dark and it's cold, right, Jennifer? It's like really cool at night because it's so crisp and the sky is so clear and we're together warm and it's nice. So thank you for being here, making that effort. But Zoom family, we still love you. So we're glad you're here. So tonight, it's the end of November. It's hard to believe. It's going so fast. And we're still counting our blessings. And I think we're going to be counting our blessings for forever. I mean, did you see this planet we live on? I got to get out more. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So tonight is responding to acknowledgement. And sometimes these topics are so thought-provoking because I thought about that. It really hit me like an arrow, responding to acknowledgement. Everyone likes to be acknowledged, right? Isn't it nice when they go, oh, thank you for what you've done, or you did such a good job at work. And I was thinking about that. And today, for example, today's a good day. It's always a good day. I was acknowledged at work. I was like, at first I didn't accept it because they said, oh, you're doing a good job. We're thinking about promoting you. And it's funny, before they said they wanted to talk to me, I thought, oh, this is it. This is it. And they said, no, we're going to think of putting you in a new position. And I'm like, what? So I was surprised, but it's about acknowledgement, how you accept acknowledgement. But what I realize is the acknowledgement, what I've always held is, and I wonder if you feel this way, I learned this because in my past life, I was in politics, that you get more done if you don't care about the credit. Oh, the things you can get done if you don't care who gets the credit. And I used to do these initiatives and think to myself, well, nobody knows about that I did this. And at first, when I was younger, I used to go like, well, why? They should know. I need to toot my horn. But the power that you have, the real power you have is that I used to say, well, God knows I did it. And actually, God actually probably helped me do it. And I believe that now with all my heart, that all the good stuff that I do is from God and all the yucky stuff is probably mostly me. But that acknowledgement is not as important. But that's not to say when you get it, like the other day, part of my work, I have a very interesting part of my job where I kind of offer people, I work for the government, a grant program. It has nothing, I'm just the phone call person that tells them, good news, your application was approved. But it's like I'm Santa Claus. And for a while, and they'll go, oh, God bless you. And they're so excited. And I'm like, oh, this is great. They love me. I'm getting blessings. And they're literally blessing me on the phone. And I think to myself, well, wait a minute. I didn't do very much. I just made the phone call. Although I go out of my way to get in contact with them. So the point is, we do want to be acknowledged. But how do we acknowledge others the same way we acknowledge ourselves and want to hear that? Do we recognize the talents of others? And that's also very important. And I think tonight we're going to acknowledge our speaker, who is Eric, brother Eric, who he is so talented and such a wonderful instrument for us. I know you're going to be charmed and delighted. I want to say he's my spiritual DJ. I call him a lot because he finds this amazing music and amazing videos. I don't know where you get it, because I spend a lot of time looking for myself, but I inevitably do in the chat, where'd you get this? And I had to say I use it for my work. But he's extremely talented instrument, and I'm going to acknowledge him. Just a little background on him, if you don't already know. He is a practitioner of Raja Yoga meditation for over 40 years. And I'll say he's an experienced instructor. He is. And a retreat facilitator. He is a Brahma Kumaris, Kumari representative to the UN, and also a member of the NGO Committees on Freedom of Religion and Belief. And he's on the board of the directors of the Long Island Multi-Faith Forum. And before his retirement, he was a civil engineer in property loss management. So with that, I've spoken enough. It's time to bring him up and hear about acknowledgement and how do we acknowledge others too. Thank you. And Brother Eric.
Good evening, those sitting on the sides. Good evening, those who are not in the center. Just wanted to acknowledge everybody. There you go. And we've changed the seating. How many are here the first time? Is anyone here for the first time? Welcome back. Oftentimes it's in the center, but we're going to have the screen down. And so for my own safety, I have moved my head out from underneath the screen. I think it's going to be okay, but I was in loss prevention, so that was part of the deal. Number 2 works out. And want to follow up on what was said, because got a couple different things tonight. But when you were acknowledged at work, how did you feel? Shocked and awed. And then when that kind of went away, was it painful or nice? It was nice. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about a little tonight. The power of our ability to acknowledge and how we might be able to understand what that is and how we might be able to use that in our life. And we had that meditation beforehand. We always have our 6:30 to 7 meditation. Usually there's a commentary or something. And it was about listening. And I'll tell you 2 things that are very important and very rare. And that's the ability to listen, and that's the ability to pay attention. And when we acknowledge others, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to listen to them, and we're going to pay attention, and we're going to actually empower. And the empowerment that I heard was a nice feeling, comes from that. And if you want to play with the idea that you are going to be a wizard, a magician, some sort of a, individual who can empower others with a nice quality. Would you like to be able to do that? Would you like to be able to go around in your life and just be able to, hey, how you doing? And communicate a nice feeling and empower others to have that? Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you, maybe you'd rather, throw lightning bolts at individuals and make them suffer. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. However, if that's your goal, you can still use the same skills, but be careful on what it is that you communicate. Because I want to share a couple different things about looking for acknowledgments. We have a testimonial about what it feels like when you're acknowledged, and that there's this kind of oh, that's nice. But oftentimes people don't get that, and they look for that. And so if we can show the first short little video, it's about someone looking for attention or acknowledgement. Little kid, play it. Down. Go back to the kitchen. Okay, you get the idea. It's pretty funny if it's not your child. Um, but there's this sense in that looking for some sort of attention. Look at me, talk to me, recognize my pain or my suffering. Give me something, your attention and your time, and come to that. And assuming that if they would have, I'm not sure the dynamics of that family or anything like that, but if they would have said, okay, we see this, how are you doing? What's up? He was obviously looking for some attention. And he wanted that hurt or feeling or sadness. It wasn't really deep, was it? Oh, got to stop and throw myself down over here and start again. And it's like, so it's kind of an act. But that sense that I'm looking for something from you. I want something from you. And when we had that, then somehow being acknowledged in that process allows it to move forward. They're not stuck with an emptiness. And want to show one more, and it's kind of in a different. We have a couple of different videos to illustrate. Hold on a second. Don't play yet. But this is the same guy, probably 20 years later. But for some reason, it's in a different realm. And for some, can't say I know everybody here, but this is from the WWE, I think it is, or WWW wrestling. These are wrestlers. And for the reasons of, I believe, he wants to have people know that he has attained something and wants everybody to see it. So you can play this one if you can.
Cody Rhodes. Acknowledge me. St. Louis. Acknowledge me. Greenville, South Carolina. Acknowledge me.
You can stop that. That's what he says. For some reason, he goes around to these different things, and basically that's his spiel now. Yeah, acknowledge me. Here I am in front of you. Okay, acknowledge me. And something about that request. Look at me, see me, know me. And that request or that desire for attention is kind of universal. That we are, and I'm going to put this forward and you think about it, but we're social beings. And we like to be acknowledged. We like to a certain degree. A lot of us will, hide ourselves up above and beyond and such like that. We're not as social as others, but there's a sense that it's nice to have that feeling of being seen and heard. And when you are seen and heard, it feels nice. But what happens after that? If you're seen or heard or acknowledged, you can see this all the time in political rallies or when celebrities or in football hero types, any kind of scene where they'll be walking through and they'll give a fist bump to somebody or they'll acknowledge, wave to somebody, or they'll, sign an autograph for someone. How does everybody feel after that? They feel great. There's some sort of, it's a wonderful term, social capital. It's been exchanged. Oh, and because they can go and tell someone, I've got some friends in Australia who think I'm just great. And the reason they think that I have, something special is because I was at a concert with Elvis Presley. Okay. And they go, wow, you really, they think that's wonderful. Okay. And so in their eyes, that's kind of makes me, special to them. What did I do? But I was at a concert and I also have been in situations, and all of you have done that, where you've been seen or acknowledged, or there's something that's been exchanged in that. And so there's a good feeling that comes. And in a way, there's I want to be seen by, president or our congressman or whoever that I might want to be. Um, if that happens, then that desire subsides. And there's something I've taken from that. And there's a relaxation in that moment. Do you follow that? That if that little child is seen, his desire to be seen is released. There's something else that's been attained from that. When this wrestler is, seen, and this is who I am, then he can relax. There's a release that happens with that. And the reason I want to set it up that way is because I use that for meditation. And in that sense, when you acknowledge something and you look at it and you think about it and you see it, feels nice, but you release that pent up energy, desire, wish. And we're going to try that now. We're going to acknowledge our physical body. We're going to do a meditation on that, a relaxation. And I'm going to ask you to think about specific parts, your toes, your knees, things like that, and acknowledge them. Be aware of them, focus on them, give them your time and attention. There's going to be a feeling of nice energy, and there's going to be a relaxation. So we're going to try that. You okay with that? You came to a meditation hall, so we're going to try a little meditation. So first of all, I want you to get centered, sit comfortably, awake, alive. Oftentimes feet on the floor is good. This chair is not the best for support, but hope the benches are semi-comfortable. But take a deep breath. Exhale. And breathe deep and easy at your own pace. But now I want you to use your power of attention and focus on your feet. We're going to work our way up and see if you can feel your toes. See if you can feel each one separately. See if you can feel the ball of your foot. Some attention there. And if you can, see if you can put some tension into your feet and let it go. You've acknowledged your feet. You've given them a nice feeling, awareness, and let them relax. And now we're going to work our way up to our calves, shins, lower part of our legs. See if you can focus your attention there. Your awareness, your attention. Move them around if you can. Put some energy there, muscles, maybe they're tight. Think of them, feel them, see them in your mind. Acknowledge them and let them go. Let them relax. Now we're going to come past the knees to our upper legs, our thighs, our seat. See if you can tense those muscles and then feel the relaxation when you let go. How does your cushion feel? How does your seat feel? We're going to acknowledge that part of our physical body. See it, feel it, acknowledge it, and release it. Let it go. Let the nice feeling come. Now, if you're sitting like me, your hands are pretty much in your lap. So feel your fists, make fists, put some tension, feel what tension is like. You know what it is, but kind of bring it into the present moment and then let go and relax and feel what that release is. You're thinking of your hands, you're thinking of your fists. You've acknowledged that part of yourself and you've released any energy that's been caught up. Now we're going to come into our midsection, our core, stomach, chest, it's we have weak back muscles. So sit up a little straighter. Think of that. Feel muscles, what they do. They hold your important organs inside. So feel, hands if you can. A little tension in there, because when you put tension in your stomach muscles, then you can release, relax, acknowledge. Feel the nice energy that comes. Now come up to your shoulders, arms. See if you can bring your shoulders to your ears. And then just drop them down. We're focusing on the instrument of the body, what we have and what we use. And we're acknowledging those muscles. We're not going to stop at each one, but you get the idea. Feel that awareness. How are your shoulders? How's your back? Acknowledge it, release it. Feel that peace that comes in to your body. We're going to work our way up to our face now. Got a lot of muscles there. You can wiggle your ears, do that. You can smile, do that. Round. Kind of feel eyebrows, cheeks, a lot of muscles there. And we're just focusing our attention, acknowledging and releasing any desires to be seen, because we just saw it. And now spend a moment or so with that awareness that I have acknowledged, I have seen, I have scanned my whole physical body. And let me just hold on to that nice, peaceful result, my acknowledging what I carry around and what carries me around. See if you can hold on to that feeling, but bring your awareness back into the room or the screen or however you're connecting. Does that work for you? Were you able to somehow create a nice feeling for yourself? That was the term that was used when we acknowledge something. Nice, feels nice, good. You're feeling nice, good, a little peaceful, okay. Was that hard work? Was it a challenge to put some attention onto certain things? Happen to be your body this time? See it and release it? What happens when that is done? Is there a release when you acknowledge? Anyone? Somewhat? Okay. It was an experiment. We'll see how that works out. I hope it wasn't too hard, and I hope the result was nice. Because we just did a little reflection on ourselves, on our body. And are going to use that as a kind of a baseline for what is possible. Because if you never see yourself, if you never think about that, if you're unaware, there's a chance that something might not feel good and you're not going to address it. Okay, you're going to ignore it, and it builds up. And I want to share another video because we're going to take a little different tact right now. It's a musical video. And the ability for us to see things and act on those is always going to be with us in our life. What do I want to see and acknowledge? And conversely, what don't I want to see or acknowledge? And that's a choice that we make. If we look over here, I'm not looking over here. So what do I see? What do I give power to? And how do I want to use that power? Because I'm going to offer that you are very powerful when you put your attention, when you put your awareness on something. And so if we can, Narayan, play the next video, and it's called, what's it called? Kids looking for attention. All right. The lights louder.
Just close your eyes and act like nothing ever happened. Forget about our fate. Close your eyes, I have to tell you something. I'm sorry for showing up this late. It was late night September and I was walking down the street. It was cold, but someone to me. You looked at me and told me that you were fine, but I saw the demons in your eyes. You feel when your body starts to shake as it searches for something to hold. Through the storm it feels so hot, but your heart and mind feel so cold. You try to tell your dad and mom, you're just being silly, you gotta move on. 'Cause teens don't know sorrow or the hardships of life. we're just kids looking for attention, right? Close your eyes and do not cry. I will sing you a lullaby. A smile's awake when you rise. I saw the spirit in your eyes.
To me, that video, very nice song, um, shows the difference that an individual can have in someone else's life. When we acknowledge others, we're kind of confirming that they're there. I had an experience one time. Used to live in Chicago a long time ago. And if you know the neighborhood, I was in the Rush Street area. And that was a time when I got a gift for my birthday. It was a blue denim shirt, and it was at one of these souvenir shops. It actually said State Prison on it, and State Prison on the back too. It was a great shirt. I liked it a lot. A cambric type of book. And summer night, walking on the street, and nowhere to go, nothing to do, but there was a lot of activity. And so I just was sitting on a bench, kind of watching things happen. You know where Rush Street is. And nobody was really paying attention. Everybody was kind of, this was before cell phones, but they were all busy doing things. And was open to whatever it was. And there were some other guys sitting around. And they were actually had some hard times in their lives. Okay, I think they were probably homeless and probably had some alcohol issues and such. But there was nothing, you know, maybe I wasn't afraid. But kind of chatting, how you doing, what's going on? And I realized that nobody going by was looking at us. We didn't exist. Nobody was seeing us. And I was quite touched because after a while, I was like, okay, I'm going to move on. And this guy, probably homeless, looked pretty rugged. Um, you know, he said, probably had noticed my shirt. He says, it'll be okay. You can stay with me if you want. You can, I'll look after you. That was the feeling. And it was just amazed by that here's someone who was probably living on the street, but wanted to offer support, help, guidance, whatever it was. There was a feeling of, let me see what I can do for you. But nobody else was acknowledging us. And there was somebody else who was, kind of in that same realm, and he was kind of wild and dancing. Nobody would look at him. Nobody was, wanted to get involved. Nobody wanted to see. And it wasn't that they should get involved. It wasn't their problem to do. But that sense that nobody's seeing us. Here we are in front of everybody, but no one was acknowledging us. And I learned a big lesson at that time and this is how I would treat people who might be in difficult situations that I would meet, is at least nod and see them and acknowledge them, as opposed to being afraid or rushing by or something like that. The sense that we have in someone's life to be able to support them, acknowledge, see them, is so powerful. It works on our body. For me, it does. I hope it did for you. When we acknowledge it, there's a relax, there's a release. I'm being seen, I'm being felt, I feel nice. And I don't know if you have heard stories, but people who are in sad places, they get a call. And, it saved their lives because somebody reached out, somebody looked to help. And what I find and what I'm trying to share tonight, I guess, is the sense of what our time and attention can do in somebody else's life. First of all, for ourselves. Can I see myself? Can I evaluate myself? What am I doing right? How can I, that's very, very important. But that sense of seeing somebody else and allowing them to feel included. I couldn't find anything specific. Somehow, some of the visuals are more powerful than when I just say something. But there was a culture, tribe that I was told that if you, in this culture, I think it was African, crossed the line and did something, the punishment was that no one would talk to you. No one would look at you. And you had that feeling then that you weren't a part, you weren't included. And eventually, most of the individuals who had that judgment left. They were ostracized. That was the punishment. We won't see you. I mean, they didn't have jails or anything like this, but that was how they would banish someone. They just wouldn't acknowledge them. And when we have that awareness that if I have the ability, and I don't have to take care of everybody, and when I walk in Manhattan commuting and such like that, I'm not looking at you doing it. And that's, a little too much. Okay. And as a matter of fact, in New York, if you acknowledge people too much, it's like, well, why, what are you staring at me for? You looking at me? So there's a little caution in there. But moving into that place for us, we have a term we use, and it's called drishti, D-R-I-S-H-T-I. And that's centering ourselves as a spiritual being and looking at somebody else that way also. We often think of soul, third eye. And so that's a greeting sometimes, Om Shanti, and not seeing what the physical is presenting to us, but actually seeing that there is a being that is in front of me. and connect that way. Spiritual being, let me see you as you truly are, more than your age and your circumstances and whatever else that you're wearing and such like that. Let me not just acknowledge that, but let me see you as a being who is worthy of being acknowledged and loved and feeling nice and all the things that come with that. And so want to kind of move, how we do it. There's one more video and we're going to have another meditation, but we do want to just hear a little feedback also. Don't want to leave you on that. Kind of, it's a heavy video, isn't it? Kids looking for attention, but it has kind of a happy ending. They changed that. One of the other things I mentioned, a lot of different thoughts come, but we're living in a different world now. Because when I was growing up, if you said something to someone and they felt bad, you would be in front of them and you would see how they felt and how they reacted. And others would probably say something. And oftentimes you would feel bad and you wouldn't do that again. You know, you call someone a name, and be, oh, I get hurt. That's there's other people would say things. You kind of learned that that was unacceptable behavior. Does that make any sense to anybody? But it was pointed out to me that now, if you say something about somebody, you often get likes and support because you're not in front of them. You're not receiving the feedback from the individuals, but you're getting positive reinforcement from those who say, yeah, you know, and so you're learning exactly the opposite of how to acknowledge someone positively. And you're putting out a different energy. And the news today said that there were, I think it was 49 or 50,000 suicides in the United States this year. And a lot of that is that people have different circumstances, but the mental health is that people aren't being seen, they aren't getting positive, they're not, you know, they're not acknowledged in a way that gives them that nice feeling. And so what I'm taking and thinking is that how important it is for us to be able to just be able to listen, be able to see, be able to be present, and allow others to know that there is someone who is able to have this strength inside to deal with whatever's happening. We're not afraid. And that takes a little power and practice. But there's benefit in observing and watching others because that allows you to sometimes respond in a beneficial way. If you see and observe, you learn what's going on and you know how to help. And so we're going to play the last video. It's going to be about acknowledging someone else's situation and seeing what can be done and what happens when you do something like that. So this will be the last one. And it's a little different than one of the wrestlers shouting at the whole universe. Ready? Ready? Yeah. And on a happy note here. But that ability to see and watch and know how to help, how to acknowledge someone in that way. It was told to me one time, and I think this is great, and I challenge all of you to look, if you celebrate a holiday in the months coming up, December, and there are lots of them, and if you have a list of individuals that you think you need to get a present for, it's easy just to get cards and here you go, whatever it is, pick something up. But see if you can really watch and listen and understand what they need. Because the best gift is something that somebody opens up and says, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. This is what I really need. They don't even know what they're asking for. But a good gift is something that you have observed in another person and you acknowledge their need and can give that to them. It's a challenge because it's hard, because it takes efforts and attention to really know the individual. Sometimes they'll tell you exactly what they want, but dog, watching, observing, helping. There's a reward for that. The reward, I'm not going to guarantee that if you do something nice, you'll get fish, but there might be something else that comes from that, just the feeling about that. And so kind of splattered a number of different ideas and concepts on this acknowledgement, but hoping that it is something that you will recognize you have great power for yourself and in others, and you can use that beneficially. And there will be rewards for that. So oftentimes we see if there's any comments or questions or thoughts from anyone. So I'm going to ask Michelle to say that she has a microphone. Any thoughts, any responses to what's going on? I see at least one hand.
I was shopping and there was this family that's homeless near the store, and I'd seen them before, and I saw the kid she had, it was a family and they had two kids, and one of them started to cry. And then I realized he's probably cold because mother took him inside a coat, you know. So I went to I made spontaneous decision to go to the store and get him a hat and gloves. So, I was responding to what I saw, and yeah, it made me feel good.
Yeah,
That I did a good.
okay, great, nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? I'm going to make a comment, and I've said this before, and if you've heard this before, I apologize, but I remember feeling very sad. I think I was sad for myself or whatever, and there was a person walking towards me. It was the weirdest thing. I didn't know who this person was, but he somehow picked up that I was not having a great day. And I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but this had to be 30 years ago. I still remember his face. He was just walking towards me in Manhattan, and he just smiled at me in the sweetest smile, and he just kept going. And I remember my knees almost buckled, and I thought, wow, how did he know? And for the rest of the day, I was like flying around, like he was my angel. And so it doesn't even have to be a gift. That acknowledgement of me as a person, I still get verklempt when I think about that guy. I don't even know who he was, but he knew at that moment that I needed a smile. And to this day, I don't know who he was. He just knew, and it was amazing. So something as simple as that, a smile.
Thank you. But just thank you so much for your stories, for the wonderful videos and perspectives. A couple of things. I recall also I was crossing the bridge, maybe the Throg's Neck, and I wasn't certain which lane to enter. And I was not in a good position, it was very crowded. And some driver allowed me, he just stopped and allowed me to enter that queue. And I just had tears and also remember it to this day. When I'm at my very best and I encounter an individual, I attempt to sense what do they need, what would be uplifting for them, and hopefully can tune into that and say something beneficial. I thought about with the adorable dog and all of that, that sometimes our return of our gifts, do not come from the source that we might imagine. So we give one place and maybe do not receive a return there, either soon or late in this life, but we might get a return elsewhere. So the fisherman was looking for his return in the sea, but the return came in an unanticipated way. The last thing, thank you for all of this. I could have two more, but I'll just go with one. And I received this beautiful, beautiful teaching from Sister Inez here, going a good number of years back. And I was quite distressed. I was pretty new here at something external that had occurred. And I felt safe speaking with her. And one of the offerings she gave me was this saying, which is, I am full and complete. I have everything I need. And it really stays with me. I share it with others and they love it regularly, so that I'm not looking so much at all for attention, that I'm able to enter into a social connection feeling whole, and then I can give, so that need for attention is not on my own part needy, at that moment. I'll say one more. I live in an apartment. I take the elevator from the 7th floor. There was a worker shining the elevator interior walls, and it was so beautiful. And I just said to him, I said, oh, thank you so much for taking such good care of our home and our elevators. And he said to me, at least somebody noticed. And I said to him, people notice. They just may not speak of it. That's it.
Great, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to thank you too.
What's that?
I want to thank you too. It's really, I'm still mellow from my acknowledging my toes.
Well, we're going to repeat that is our conclusion, if that's okay. If last chance to be acknowledged, if there was anything that you would want to say tonight, because we will be here next Thursday too. Hope you will too. But we'll be here Thursday next week and the week after. I think we take a little break somewhere along the line, so watch the calendar. But if it's all right, do you have anything? We're gonna just,
Well, I'm just gonna can I make the announcements now?
Sure.
So we can bring it home, okay? So as Brother Eric, first of all, thank you. I felt like I took a nice warm bath. And I
You're-
just feel really nice.
Good.
Thank you. Hope you feel the same. I needed a bath. Okay, next week, we start December. It's Reclaiming the Light because December is all about holidays and they all revolve around light. And it started with Diwali and it's going to continue. And next week it will be the Light and the Might. And that's Sister Anjani, who's actually runs this place. She's going to be our special teacher in 2 weeks. Hope you come. Some of our actors are actually in the audience tonight, preview, and we're having our holiday program and it's going to be a lot of fun, guaranteed. And as Brother Eric said, the week after, I think there is a pause and there's a meditation hour tomorrow. Not sure
Yeah,
what time
yeah.
that
we'll be
is
open-
as well.
The hall will
Yes.
be open at 6:30.
So there was a meditation in person tomorrow. And also there will be a online beginners Raja Yoga meditation course starting next week, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, between 5:15 and 6:15. And you can sign up here or online. Thank you. And thank you.
Okay. And if it's all right, because you are so good, we're going to finish the way we started. We're just going to acknowledge our body and kind of get into that nice feeling again. So deep breath and exhale, breathe deep at your own pace, but take your attention back down to your feet. Feel those toes, arch, whatever you can, acknowledge it and let it go. And then up to your calves. See if you can put some tension into that. Release, relax, acknowledge, let it go. Thighs, seats, hips. Feel the chair, feel the cushion. Acknowledge that part of your physical body. Let it go. Hands, fists, tension. Relax, release. Stomach, back, core. Feel it. And relax. Acknowledge it. Shoulders, arms, chest, back. Feel it. Aware. Acknowledge it. Relax, release. Now up to our face, our head, our skull. Take another deep breath. Feel the air come in. Acknowledge that you're the thinker, creating the thoughts, you're directing them. Acknowledge that you are experiencing the atmosphere of peace. The nice feeling that was described. Acknowledge the physical body and let that go. And now just hold on to results, the remnants, their quality that transcends, the peace, the happiness, the joy. Spend a moment just experiencing what it is that comes to you. You acknowledge and release anything that's been pulling for attention. Shanti, thank you for coming. May you share your attention and your time and have a great December. See you next week.